It aims to address technological challenges within the educational sector through 4IR solutions that will bring Africa closer to technological progress. That's a new app titled ElimuVerse, created by two young business creatives and techpreneurs, Rethabile and Luthando Madhlopa. The metaverse application will be set up in computer rooms and libraries accessible to children across the country. And to tell us more, we're now joined by the creators of ElimuVerse, Rethabile and Luthando Madhlopa. Very good morning to you, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Great
much.
stuff. It's so good to have you join us this morning. Luthando, I'm going to start with you. Just take us through ElimuVerse. First of all, what does ElimuVerse mean?
ElimuVerse is actually a Swahili, well, the Elumi means knowledge in Swahili, and verse is a place. So ElimuVerse essentially is a place of knowledge, a place of enlightenment.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Rethabile, what kind of problems does this app seek to address or tackle?
Hi, so we are basically trying to bridge the gap between the information in government. So we're trying to bridge the gap between private and government schools through information. So we want to make the information universal to all schools across the African continent.
That's a much needed gap that needs to be filled between government and private schools. Just take us through in greater detail how this app seeks to cover that gap.
So basically what we'll be doing is, it will be in the 4IR. So the one thing that we realize is that in terms of career guidance is lacking a lot, especially in public schools. So what we've then done is to create this app that has various portals. So the portals will then consist of a meta library. It will consist of virtual guidance in 4IR. It will also consist of summits and events and technological podcasts. So these then help and aid various schools, like I said, across the continent, to then receive all, the same kind of information that would be going out. So no school is basically left behind. Yeah.
Okay. And the fact that it's accessible to each and every children, be it in government or private schools, hey?
Yes, that's the aim. We need to make information accessible to everyone.
Sure.
Information cannot be for the select few who can afford it.
Yeah.
Information is not a thing of one can afford it, one can't. It needs to be accessible to all children, to all parents, especially people of color. And we live in an era where our parents don't know what our children should be doing.
Yeah.
And the kids are also confused. We recently started doing a talk show on Teta FM, and it's called Edu Breakfast. We do it every Monday morning. And we have a growing demographic. At first, the demographic was just students.
Sure.
But we have parents calling us after the show. We have grandmothers calling us after the show, aunts and uncles, worried about the future of their children. What are our children going to do? What is the plan? How can you help us? Please advise. And that is what ElimuVerse Holdings is really about. It's about helping the African child, helping the African parent be better and also catch up. I mean, for a very long time, the African continent has been known to be a dark place. We cannot afford to continue being dark in this neo-renaissance of 4 and 5IR. We need to catch up. And ElimuVerse is going to do that and help us do that.
And I get it that you want to dispel the myth that certain institutions must monopolize quality information, and
Yes.
that, it's always been a norm that quality education, you can only get it, private schools, right? So what's the current status quo, and what do you think are the contributing factors to this?
I honestly think it's a lack of knowledge, because there's an assumption that because you're in a government school, there's certain knowledge that you cannot access. There's certain places you cannot go to. And then if you are in a private school, the parents seem to be more knowledgeable about certain things. And what we're doing is that we're bridging that gap of knowledge.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about the specifics of the content of this app. What kind of information is being shared? Is it scientific? Is it arts and cultural? Just exactly what are the specifics of such information?
So basically, with the various portals, you get various types of information, but the main thing would be the library that we were building.
Okay.
And that would then consist of various publication houses. We'll be working with schools, because obviously in getting quality information, it also has to be like reliable information. So it's about getting the right publications and working with various schools, various publication houses to make sure that it is, the right quality of information. And then when it comes to the podcast then deals with technological topics. So everything trending, what we need to know in the 4IR, what's happening, Bitcoins and, all these, the type of information that people don't usually know, because, it does get a bit confusing, especially with technological advances, and especially in terms of fraud, alerting people on, this is the things that you need to look out for, and so forth. So
Okay.
it's mainly centered around information, educational information and technological information.
So what's been the response from schools? Is there any likelihood or possibility that it might be infused into the school curriculum?
So yeah, there has been talks. We can't really say much about, like, fully indulge in it right now.
Okay.
But there's definitely been talks. There's been schools that have been approaching us to say that, we're interested, we'd like to do this. We've been trying to solve this problem, but we didn't know how.
Yeah.
So yeah, you basically solving our problem for us, yeah.
Okay. So why is it important that students know about 4IR? I know that's where we're headed to.
It's not where we're headed to, it's where we are.
It's where we are.
It's where we are,
already,
number
yeah.
one. We're actually headed to the 5IR. Number two, it is important because every single career in 2022 going forward has an element of technology.
Okay.
Be it law, be it medicine, be it animation, anything you can think of. And what we find is that people don't have the skills or the
Okay.
skill set to do certain things.
Yes.
That's another thing that ElimuVerse helps in terms of skills development and working with certain branches and certain organizations to help students also reach their fullest potential.
Got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how do we access this app?
Okay.
So the app is currently in dev phase, but soon we will be making an announcement as to when we'll be launching the app. And as soon as that announcement is made, then the app will be available.
And I see a growth of this app. So what are possibly, the future features that you envisage that you will add onto this app?
So I think the one thing people have been actually asking us, okay, I think maybe the development of the career guidance, because that's the one thing that we've realized that a lot of people then ask us, like, what do I do after matric? What do I do now? So I really see that the career guidance portal really growing more than anything else, because then essentially thinking about this idea, career guidance was like the number one thing that actually made us come here, because even me growing up, it was very difficult to decide what to do, So building on the career guidance portal would be our number one focal point, yeah.
Brilliant initiative. Well done, girls, for this.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely stunned. In Rwanda, the government has upped its game in terms of, developing the government schools, such that now parents are now pulling out their kids from private school into government school. So with this app, I see a revolution in the education sector here in South Africa. All the best.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was Luthando Madhlopa and Rethabile speaking to us about an app that aims to address the technological challenges within the education sector through 4IR solutions that will bring Africa closer to technological progress.